here, and welcome to episode 2, First Day Biblical Discussion. Yeah, we're there. We're in it. We're in it. I've still got it. I'm still getting the setup right. Because as opposed to where I can use this stand and have it sideways, YouTube recommends you go live in the vertical fashion. So, um, I'm hoping to hear my own my own audio here in a second at some point. Um, Waiting for this other phone to load to see if the audio is good. Let's see. Audio is good. All right, so we're good to go. Sometimes, people get on there. It's the sound's bad. You know what I mean? You waste an hour going live, no one can hear you. But luckily, this is all right. So, today's discussion, first day biblical discussion, we're going to discuss the videos that I had posted this week, and they were talking about passport bros. I posted one about how, from the same uh, content creator, she's discussing how men need to pay for everything, and we're going to go around those subjects, and then at some point we're going to transition and discuss biblical roles, which are going to be the topic of the videos that I'll be posting in the near future this week, and discuss how just a simple, slight um, alteration in how we approach these things could make them uh, exponentially better for the people who practice them. I'm talking about being passport bros and discussing with women. Um, oh, I pay for everything versus going Dutch or any type of um, other percentage than 100% 100% 0%. Anything other than that, we're going to discuss how the Bible and biblical roles are really good at solving that, which is opposed to what a lot of people will say. Okay, people forget vows like for richer or for poor. Okay, till death do you part, for the good times and the bad times, sickness and in health. Um, but we'll get there when we get there. First, let me make the plugs. Let's make the plugs. Arthur Fan, if you want to follow me on Instagram, on IG, Arthur Fantastic 1K instead of IC. Holler. You also have my subscribe star, which will be in the description as well as in the chat, which I'll post them right now. Can I post the chat right now? I guess at some point. What is this? There's a plus sign at the bottom. Oh, I can start a poll. I can't jump into the chat. I'll have somebody jump into the chat and post that there. Taylor. Um you'll have to go to my Instagram and just go to my bio, get the link to the subscribe star, right? And just copy and paste that in the chat. And I'll make you pin your chat. Whoa. Um we have subscribe stars, so we have, if you want to support financially, also have a tier system that I'm still working on. Eventually we want to build purchase and procure a large piece of land and start a physical community of believers who are holding each other accountable. We start our own economy, sort of, at least a parallel economy, because things are getting pretty expensive and trading looks a lot better than expecting prices to go down, which they will not. Um, Frugality, right? Frugality and tactful movement of finances is just as important as our spiritual battles. It's like we don't have just a spiritual battle. Otherwise, if we just had a spiritual battle, we wouldn't have to eat and work and make sure to provide for ourselves. And I feel like a lot of pastors say the opposite. They say just give, 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 give. They don't care about the people in their so-called churches, to enough to give sound financial advice and lead. Okay, and many churches have so many people that you don't even know all the people in your church, and you can't lead them. They're not even looking for advice for you. They're just looking for a day to feel better about being quote unquote Christian. Okay. So having a community for numerous reasons, from security to economy and financial stability, um, um, iron sharpening iron and holding each other uh, to the word and the standard. These are all things that would increase in a community. So there's a plug for the subscribe star. Follow me on IG, Arthur Fantastic on any social media. Caramel the Sauce, my wife off screen, who is helping me with the technical things to hopefully post that link there in the description. I mean, in the live chat. Um, what what else is there to plug, baby? What else is there to plug? Arthur Fantastic on BitChute if you like to watch some of my material on there. I also post other people's material on there, so I don't get copyright struck as I would here on YouTube. And I will, and so I will be steadily releasing even more than I release here on YouTube. And I also have a second channel, Arthur Fantastic, um, also available in the description when this video gets posted live. Uh, you will be able to I'm waiting for it to pop up in the live. I don't know what that's about. Why don't I see it? Why don't I see it? Well, see a top. Let me see. Let me see. Top chat, live chat. Let me just see the live chat. It just doesn't even post. All right. Maybe it'll post at some point. I don't know. Um, Arthur Fantastic. If you like MMA, karate, wrestling, catch wrestling, I'm posting all that type of content there. I'm separating that from my ministry work and my conspiracy theory videos and my social commentary videos, because I've already gotten a warning on this channel for posting other content that's videos up on this channel. You can go check it out. Don't leave this live. Check it out later. Um, long story short, here we are. Okay, I think that's all the plugs that's necessary, right? We can talk about what we got in this week. Okay, so um I think the first video that I posted was the Passport Bros video, right? I want to say that that was the Bros video. Um that's done pretty well. Some people have been A lot of people have been watching that one, a lot of comments, a lot of discussion on there. The one pushback on that page that I got that I feel like it's worth talking about is the, let's see if I can get it up here on this phone. Okay, wait for that to load. Um, it was a pushback of, and if I'll lead in here, that was basically saying the same thing she was, which is like, oh, it'll be hard. It'll be hard. Um, okay, here we go. This comment is from I cut your head off. Okay. Are we not ignoring the fact that you will have to go through trials and fail phase? Most likely a lot. Okay, I'm gonna put. I guess I'll have to say the dots out loud. Dot dot dot. Most likely a lot until you find a least semi cool chick to date long term. Dot dot dot. It's an unavoidable gamble of probabilities. Dot dot dot. And when you choose to go passport bro route, you basically overcomplicate that process, making it unnecessarily longer and much more expensive. Dot dot dot. And when you over investing time and cash into just getting to know a woman, just getting to know a women, it becomes way harder to drop her if she appears to be walking red flag in psychological sense for you. This is not very, the English is very broken. My point is that morally there is absolutely nothing wrong with being passport bro, but in practical sense, the weeding out process of bad and uncompatible women It's not even the right correct word. Um, becomes way harder, and finding out if she is bad choice in the first place becomes hard, crazy hard, because all the people that knows her in real life will be living half world away. Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna read my response, which is not going to be broken English, and it's going to be, and then I will comment on and so forth. I think yeah. Okay, scrolling to the top here. Are we ignoring the fact that the fact that you will have to go through? Okay, sure. For charming, intelligent, good-looking, and financially stable men like me, it's uh it's going to be easy. Okay, not for the average man seeking a wife in America. Um, okay, what is he right? It's an okay. Most likely, you until you find at least a semi cool chick to date long term, it's unavoidable gamble probably. Sure, for charming, intelligent, good looking, and financially stable men like me, sure, it's easy to find a woman like that in America because things are going well for me. Not for the average man seeking a wife in America who is, not mean the 6 inches, 6 feet, and six figure number. Yeah, of course it's the three sixes, right? Um, because women are the devil. No, I'm just joking. But there is just a large number of men that aren't meeting the number that or requirements that women have decided for themselves, and so it's not going to be an easy task. If it was an easy task, why are there so many single men, okay, that are unmarried? Why is marriage plummeting? Okay. And people are like, well, divorce is plummeting too. Yeah, the rate, because the rate of marriage is also plummeting. But the rate is, all right. It also doesn't reflect all the number of divorces on the books that haven't been finished, because divorce um, some divorce proceedings can take years, a dozen years even, depending on how rich and or how packed the system, or the number of problems, you know what I mean, negotiations and custody battles, um, that are also happening at the same time, whatever the case may be. Some divorces take really 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 long times. In many cases, people are separated, living their separate lives already, before the divorce is ever official. That being said, um, uh, when people are in the tradcon community specifically, or the Christcon community, Christian conservative or traditional conservative, we'll discuss how I'm going to leave this up so I can continue because we're going to go back to it. Um, the Christcon and the tradcon community, they sort of discuss this whole topic in a slightly different manner, and it's unrealistic, unfortunately. Right? What was I just discussing? In fact, I kind of lost myself there.
You're discussing the
Yeah, but
responses.
specifically, where was I going from the Christcon and the tradcon?
Um, yeah, how they um have like unrealistic expectations or have like unrealistic standards within the spectrum of the passport bro conversation.
Okay. When the Christcon and the tradcon start discussing a lot of what is required of men, they aren't actually reflecting the scripture. Thank you, by the way. They're reflecting social norms. They're reflecting this feminist uh, ideals, the ideals in movies, the ideals in books, but they're not actually addressing what is reality. Things aren't going very well for the average man. The average man is single, alone, no children, middle class. Middle class, mind you. They're not broke, okay? They're doing fine for themselves. But that's not enough for women anymore. Specifically, I go on to say that I'm a married polygamist, okay? I'm a man who's married, who's also polygamist, and I don't have a problem being interested in women, okay? And molding them to what I will want them to be a wife. And if not, then they can hit the bricks, right? However, many of the men in society are, I see in society, are having quite a tough time. It's true. And when you choose to go, this is him again. When you choose to go passport bro route, you basically overcomplicate that process, making it unnecessarily longer and much more expensive. According to who? According to who? Um, sure, if you play the simp game and pay for other women's shit, which we'll go to in a minute, then yes, of course. But if you play it like you're the prize and make women prove themselves to you, then no way. You're playing the game on I have to pay for women mode. Check the other video responding to this woman's video. It's the very next video posted to my page. Women want out of their countries, and generally they want and appreciate their husbands. One of the reasons why, before we go on, that underpins the idea of the passport bro. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Um, Back that one. Um, the idea here, okay, that underpins passport bros is going to other countries, right? Why do women in other countries happen to end up being better wives? That's something we should question. Like, why is that the why? Why is that happening? Okay. And it's because these cultures are more traditional outside of the US. And guess what underpins all of you can watch out. That's a pen. You might get pen in there. Ink. Excuse me, ink. Um that underpins the traditionalism of a society is their religion, okay? So called, okay? The West is underpinned by Christianity, but so is the non-West, third world countries. And the places that they're going to, for the most part, to find these women, okay, are Christian or Muslim, okay? But I consider, and I'm going to have to do a long video discussing this because I think the umbrella of Christian also includes, for some Christian it doesn't include Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, or Muslims, but I think it does, and I think that not including them under your umbrella only gives is a way to turn your back and not continue to engage with them like they aren't your brothers and sisters. They are. They are misled. They literally believe in our scriptures. You just have to show them. And it's like there's simple ways to disarm that, and there's Shamunian, okay, who's great at that. There's Nabil, rest in peace. Frank Turek. I don't know if he's dude does a lot of Muslim arguing. Clef Nettle, um, uh, William uh, William Craig, I believe his name is. Um, there's a lot of gentlemen on the internet that discuss this, but one quick one is that I'll give you for the people watching this live is you ask a Muslim, can God corrupt his word? Can God's word be corrupted? They say no. Of course not. That's what their Quran says. is the gospel, the New Testament, the Old Testament, is that the word of God according to the Quran? Once again, yes, it is. So then you show them the Bible, the end. And they're like, oh, well, but it's been corrupted. And then you say again, can God's word be corrupted? No. Is this God's word? Yes. Then let me show it to you. A lot of times you can't show it to them. And they've been trained. You know who has been trained? Christians. Christians haven't been trained. They haven't trained their children. They haven't prepared their children. They've done nothing like what the Muslims have been. They're ready to respond, despite their belief being erroneous and wrong. So because that these cultures are underpinned by tradition, which is itself undergirded by religion, faith, a particular code that they're appealing to, even in these pagan countries, one has to think about, okay, there's a system that's creating women that are actually worth marrying, and is that impossible to have here? Is that something that's impossible to develop here? No. But no one's trying to do that, unfortunately. We have completely seceded all land in the battle for the culture. We have like this small dot that we're fighting for now, finally. When almost everything is against us in society at this point, despite it being based on what we have established, and by we I mean the people that came before us, whose shoulders we stand on, the believers, the Christians, every person that's been bringing this Bible forward through time. We stand on their shoulders, and we're being very ungrateful by not doing our best to not only establish it where we're living, but live our lives through it. And so, why do men go to these other countries? Because they are more like a biblical woman than any Christian woman here in America. They're submissive. They're obedient. They fucking appreciate their husbands. They they work hard on their household to raise their children and keep it clean and keep it well. And what is the American Christian single woman doing? Which I just posted a video about that as well. They're just living their modern secular Babylonian life. They're not trying to be Christian. They're not thinking about what the man that they want wants. They're not trying to be anything for that man. They're just like despite being adult now, they're just still a teen, just discovering the world and looking around, and I'm discovering myself, which is all unbiblical. You decide who you want to be. You can decide if you want to be a child of God or a child of Satan. You get to choose through your actions. But the whole, bringing it back to the topic, the whole point of the passport bros is to get a more submissive woman, to get a woman that's going to cook, to get a woman that's going to suck, fuck, and shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And despite it, those all being the things that a biblical wife is supposed to do, none of those things are discussed in most churches. In most churches, especially the biggest congregations, you know what I mean, or churches, you know what I mean. There's no talking about that in Catholicism. There's not going to be talking about that in Orthodox Church. You're not going to hear that in any of the Eastern Rite. That the women have to shut the fuck up, suck, and fuck. You know what I mean? Like, cook, clean, learn how to fucking be submissive. They'll talk about being submissive. Okay, they'll talk about being submissive, but then then denominations like the Catholics and the Orthodox will have a whole theology based around Mary and discuss motherhood, and it's this and that and the authority of this and code redemptrix and through her intercession and this, that, the other thing. And it's like, you go to your father directly, and if you're ashamed, then you get your shit together and then you go to your father. You don't this is not, there's no theme. I'm not that That's a discussion for another day. But what that does is it feminizes the entire church, and then you have no talk about the reality of the rights of a marriage, fucking clothing, food, and marital rights, or conjugal, that is conjugal rights, or sexual rights, which is exactly what Paul is talking about in First Corinthians 7. Okay, which is keep your marital rights to your wife, and the wife keeps the marital rights to the husband. Okay, that's just a euphemism for saying have sex with each other to stave off sexual immorality. And it's like better to get married than to just burn in that need. Okay, and it seems like all those things are something that we don't talk about anymore. We can't talk about it. That's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. Oh, a woman and sex? That's disgusting. Is it? Oh, let me turn off my. I thought I just turn on my do not disturb. Pull it down. Okay, so if we can't talk about sex, okay, which is what men want and is the whole reason why we get married, among many other things, but it's my one of my rights. It's one of my rights, and it's like, oh, you get to do whatever you want. You can rape your wife, and you can do this and that, and the other thing. All right, okay, then. I mean, is that what they think in third world countries and in other countries where they're more biblical? No, they know that they need to please their husband. You go back to like 1920s and you listen to like fucking old Italian music. It's about baking a pizza every night, and it's like, but it's all euphemism for making sure that you have sex with your husband, or he's going to get it from somewhere else. There's been all this old like heuristic, like, old timey from your grandma, make sure that you please your husband or he's going to get it somewhere else. I mean, that's just fucking, that is true. And then for some reason, women are always like, oh, why did he go somewhere else? Because he's not fucking safe with you, because he's fucking not pleased with you, and because he has a fucking testosterone level like 70 times the level of any woman. And when a woman gets a little bit of testosterone, all right, they're like, you know what I mean? Oh, it was my, I was I was ovulating. I was ovulating and I just couldn't control my body. I mean, we have that all the time. So like, of course men want to have sex. It's just a fucking normal thing. Um I think that beyond the whole I want to go to another country. It's and find a woman that's going to do these um necessary things that would be necessary for any wife. It's that they also have and going to bring to the relationship a culture that they're going to instill in their children of submission, obedience, etc. And just because you find a semi cool chick in America does not mean that they're going to have those. They're not going to have those. They're not going to have those fucking values. You have to be like fucking super, super lucky, or, well, there's no luck. I don't believe in luck. You have to be, you have to just, it has to be reality. And the reality is 20% is getting all the women. Okay. 20% of men are getting all the women. Okay. And okay, this is coming from one of the dudes in the top 20%, unfortunately for you. Uh, it's not that easy for the men here. And they can go to another country where here they're like, oh, I'm a 6 or a 7, and they go to another country and they're like an 8 or a 9 now, and women want them. You land in DR and women are just going to want you. Okay. Now, when it talks about, oh, this is more expensive, this is going to be a longer process, according to who? According to who? You know what I mean? Who says that it's going to be a longer process? The woman or the man? Who is in control? I think the whole problem is that the underlying assumption that this guy is making is that he's not in control. And if you believe you're not in control, you're not going to be in control. You're not going to act in control, and you're not going to develop a system of being in control and figure out what's necessary to be in control. Instead, you are out of control. It's very it's a simple mathematic equation that doesn't need crazy um interpretive science to get to. Okay? Why will it be longer? Why would it be more expensive? Not only are these other countries cheap as shit, okay? Like I think I think like 1 month rent here in America might be like 4 months living in a house in Bali or some shit like that, or living in an apartment in Bali. You know what I'm saying? So whatever the case may be in terms of like what people are doing in their strategy, you can't just insist on being right without actually looking. Why is it going to be more expensive? Are you not in control of what you spend? And why would you spend all this money on all the woman that you go to another country? Why demand that she fucking spend some goddamn money? She pay for her fucking self. And if is it going to even be that expensive? Why do dates have to be expensive? The beach is fucking free, especially if you're on vacation. You don't have to park your car and fucking figure out how you're gonna get. If you're in a destination location where there's a fucking beach, the beach is fucking free. Your hotel pool, if you stay at one, or the Airbnb, or the whatever the boutique hotel you stay at, is that maybe even an apartment that you rent. Do they not have a pool? You take them there. That's fucking free. You have your own beers. You have your own fucking whatever. You bring that. I mean, I guess you can pay for that. You bottle. You know what I'm saying? Music. You get to talk to a person. I think that the reason why is because you have no fucking game, my guy, and you have to fucking throw the money at a woman to get them impressed with you. Go fucking to the gym, get fucking confident, go read the Bible to understand and have a fucking standard and code that's legitimate, that at least blends well with most other traditional cultures. And if they're really traditional and cultural and submissive, they will convert to you because you're the man. And then now you have something to teach a woman, and they want to learn. Oh, I want a mentor, I want a teacher. And then lastly, fucking take control of your goddamn life, you fucking weak bastard. Okay? Complaining about it's going to be longer and more expensive. Control your own fucking life, dude. And you as a man do not have to limit yourself to one woman. Okay, as I spoken and clearly referenced myself as a polygamist, you don't polygamist. You do not have to say, oh, I'm going to a destination location like Dominican Republic, and I'm only talk to one woman. Not only am I bringing my wife with me, and we're gonna have a good time. Okay, if I decide to talk to another woman in the Dominican Republic, okay, who wants to come home with me, I'm not until she demonstrates loyalty, submissiveness, obedience, and a real want to be with me. Why the fuck am I going to give any fucking credence to what she wants other than her being a chick that's fucking attracted to me? I mean, maybe you can't discern that. Maybe you should read the Bible and pray for discernment, and you should also have some control of yourself if a woman shows interest. But that all being said, um, there's no reason why being a passport bro would be any more longer of a process or more expensive other than you say so. Um, yeah, this is basically what I said. Uh, seriously, that's literally, and you can also you can always go to this video right here. Um, oops, if I can. Oh, I just swiped out of this motherfucker. There you go. You can go to. I can't even put it up on the screen, can I? No. You can go to the Passport Bros video. You can kind of see it here, and the whole video is in there. And see the discussion with cut your head off, right? He goes on to say, "Oh, never underestimate." Um, I don't know what's going on here. Never underestimate how funny people's mind work. Being aware of some sort of psychological patterns, trick stuff does not make you immune to it. Blah 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 blah. People are extremely unlikely significantly change or get molded into something different, at least not for the long term. And then for ironically, people who think they are too smart to fall for games or tricks, regardless of truth, are the easiest to manipulate. And then five, your own ego or virtue signaling is your biggest enemy at trying to analyze or understand people. Um, uh, to all that, I said, who said I wasn't aware of these things? When did I say I was too smart? In fact, I don't invest solely into one woman as a polygamist, and I require women to prove themselves to me first before I invest. I also spoke of a standard and made it simple, not easy. Never said it was easy. That's your addition. People who want to change and put in the effort through action can change. That you think it is rare is probably because you're not religious. Also, probably because you don't seem to be dominant at all. You seem more like a single gamma who's insisting on their information without any woman submitting to them. Where am I virtue signaling? Be specific because I don't know what you're talking about. I'll address it when you identify it. Ultimately, this guy really didn't have anything legitimate to say. He just fucking like insists on um, me not being right. It's like no, I don't solely invest in women, and I don't invest until they prove themselves, and I'm not limited to one woman, and I'm already fucking married, and I have more than one income to develop my life and our lifestyle together, right? So, you know, women want to be led. You can lead them, and if you find yourself finding it hard to lead women, then either you're not a good leader or it's the wrong woman and you can kick them to the fucking curb. And for me, it's fucking easy to kick them to the curb. I didn't say it's easy to date or fucking easy to live by the code. It's an easy choice. If someone does not want to fucking get in line, it's goodbye. It's not, oh, I have to fucking keep investing while I'm in a fucking foreign country. No, dude, there's a million women in for the foreign country that wants to be a fucking wife. There's a million of them, and they're just like me, walk, talking, act like me. It just might be the next best thing, but it quite like me. I'm some shadiness, but for real, these chicks are not only are they willing to deal, not only are they willing. Hi, how you doing, DFL Echo? Not only are they willing to deal, not only are they willing to discuss terms, not only are they willing to be a second, third, fourth wife, and depending on where you go, you know, this is acceptable in Muslim culture. This is acceptable in some Caribbean cultures. This is acceptable in African cultures. This is acceptable in some South American cultures, to a lesser degree, but it's understood by some people when they know that, you know, some of these cultures have like a lot of families going back. The father had dual families, you know, I mean, that's that Spanish blood that they brought there from Europe. But no, I'm just joking. Everybody just likes fucking, and it's that is what it is. You know what I mean? It's can you justify it by your standard and code? In my estimation, when I read the Torah and I read the Bible and I read it all together and understand that God identifies as a polygamist in Ezekiel 23, Jeremiah 3, 8 through 10, Jeremiah 31, 31 through 33, participates in polygamy by giving wives to David in 2 Samuel 12, 8, uh, allows polygamy in his law in Exodus 21, 10, which is where we get all the idea of what women deserve in a marriage: clothing, raiment, sex, sexual rights or marital rights, and the idea of providing and being authority on of over your wife is also from the Torah, which is what we bring to the New Testament. I'll discuss that more when I get to the biblical roles portion, but I'm going to start winding down the passport bros and start under explaining why um you don't have to pay for everything. Okay, but that being said, the passport bros have a thing going. There are places like the Philippines where divorce is illegal. Okay, that's a destination for passport bros. There are a lot of Christian women who are living in basically poverty that are willing to be literally saved. Okay, okay, Julia Roberts style. Okay, and be grateful for what they're doing and be grateful for for their life. Okay, this whole fear of them breaking down is, well, then you're not a good leader, and she didn't want to leave, and she can fucking go then. You can fucking go then. I don't fucking need you. You need me. Okay? I need a wife. I don't need a combative, selfish, um, Jezebel, whore of Babylon. Okay? I need a wife. Okay? And you get to choose what you are. Okay? And people can change. People, you can't, for the most part, people can't change. People fucking change all the time. Okay? People stop drinking, people stop smoking, people stop fucking injecting, people stop doing a lot of fucking things that the YouTube centers will start bringing down on me if I call it a bad thing all the fucking time. Let's not forget Rahab the prostitute is in the line of the Messiah, Jesus Christ, Yahushua HaMashiach. And he is he dirtied now that there's a prostitute in his lineage? Could she not change? Do people not change? If people didn't change, then they would be babies all their fucking life. They'd just be shitting themselves and vomiting and then die because no one's taking care of them. That's ridiculous. People change all the time. And I heard a quote once: people change when they need to. Okay? Not and I also believe people change if they want to and show that through repeated effort, exercising that want, not just, oh, I think it in my brain, which is something that I think a lot of Christians talk about in fact in certain doctrines of Christianity, where it's just like, oh, I just have to think something and it's going to be okay. um you have to demonstrate that you think those things. Okay, all right, only God knows our hearts. Okay, but we're told, um if you love him, keep his commandments. Okay, and if someone says that I follow him and do not keep his commandments, that person is a liar and the truth is not in him. We know that if we love him and if we know him, we keep his commandments. Okay, and walk as he did, the Messiah, Jesus Christ. So um there is nothing immoral about going to another country and trying to find a submissive, obedient woman, right? He even said that himself. So his only problem was, oh, well, it's going to be harder. Why? For you, maybe. Maybe you only play checkers. Some of us can play chess, okay? And the average dude can play chess, okay? He's just not given the opportunity to do so here in America. If you in chess being a euphemism for being on the sexual market and talking to women and being able to play his game of life, okay, him to play his own game and move him, as King Baldwin said in King of Heaven. We saw that movie recently. Love that movie. Uh, so I think any last thoughts on that passport, bro? No, okay. So I spent a good 30 minutes on that. Um, ultimately, I think that that's uh a legitimate solution to finding women of marriage material. Does it make it any easier? A little bit, in some shape and form. Is it hard? It's just as hard as fucking dating anywhere else. They're not raining from the sky. You still have to work on yourself. You still have to make money. You still have to be confident. You still have to be moral and have a code. So it's not easier in those ways, but it's easier in that you, as a man here in America, might be lower on the sexual market value because looks only go so far for men. Um, only 15% of men are making the kind of money that women want. You know what I mean? Six figures, $90,000, 90,000 a year. Only 15% of men are doing that. Most men are making 45 to $50,000 a year. Oh no, I'm sorry, 34 to $45,000 a year. I think sometimes we can get to $50,000 depending on what um demographic we're looking at. But ultimately, if you're only if you're invisible to women here in America, right? And you're a 6, you're a 5, you're a 4 maybe. You're a 3 maybe. You go to these foreign countries and you go up 2, 3 steps. And maybe what is traditionally like attractive by like portions of your face or body that you can't change might be more I'm choking on my own sip here, might be more attractive in other places. Um, and it's exotic. Women like foreign men. They like exotic things. They can take that man can take them into their little exotic world. You know what I'm saying? And teach them about this other world and whatever like that. You can live in that new country or you can come back to America. That all being said, as of late, the most successful marriages that I've seen and common um like where I'm just like I'm so glad that y'all are together. It has been with a man from America and a foreign woman. Um, and I think that it's okay. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that women from other countries are going to be more conservative, and that's a fucking fact. So that this person's like, oh well, everybody they know is going to be halfway around the world. Good. They will have to rely on you. They have to rely on your world. They have to rely on, they have now been put in your frame of life. And if they're out of control, they can get in line and you can give them the whatever, um, incentive you want. You know what I mean? Like listen, you yell, or you can give them an ultimatum, or you can try to calmly discuss it because all different women need different types of correction. Okay, you can yell at her in public. You know what I mean? And they don't want to fucking like cooperate, then they can fucking go. And that's another problem that I discussed in the last video. Well, actually, not the last video. That my 10-part series with Michael J. Knows proves cuctianity, where unfortunately a lot of modern denominations have a very bad understanding of divorce according to the Bible. Of course, because they first don't understand the law, the Torah, and what God has given to us, not Moses, God. And then secondly, they misinterpret the New Testament as if Jesus is not the same God from the Old Testament. And so divorce has become this taboo thing, despite God divorcing Israel himself in Jeremiah 3:8 to 10. Yes, the same said verses that I used earlier to identify that he identified as a polygamist. Not only that, but he's the one, God, that is the one that instituted it. God, Jesus. Anyway, there is a reason for divorce, and it's not just if someone is committing adultery, it's for a number of things. And you as the man who is supposed to be an authority is supposed to have that duty that is due to you. So speaking of men, their authority, and what is due to them in terms of uh, them being the authoritative person or role or head of the family, or the authoritative voice of the family, the household, in fact, not just the wife but of the children and any servants, which is any person that you employ. Okay, sometimes this is rendered as slave in the Old Testament. but this is voluntary or through debt slavery, which is everybody's a debt slave. I have a debt, I have to pay it off, I got to work. If not, you might be a wage slave, where you're a slave to your wage. But regardless, if you were employed, you were considered a servant or thus rendered slave. Just necessary to point out. But the man is responsible for that entire body, and he's the head. Just like Jesus is the head of the church, which is the entire body of believers. Okay, so one moment. When we talk about the idea of men's authority, does it stop at when women say, well, I will only submit when I decide? Okay, when he pays for everything. Says who and why? When does it say there? The rights, going back to Exodus 21:10, which is the same said verse that literally allows polygamy, is also the verse that is referenced in 1 Corinthians 7 when discussing marital rights, which is conjugal rights or sexual rights, clothing, and raiment. There's nothing about houses. There's nothing about me paying for everything. There's nothing about me making a certain amount or making you happy. I give you clothing, raiments, which is clothing is raiment, food, and sex. And we as husbands are supposed to love our wives, and wives are supposed to respect their husbands, because you love a child and you respect your authority, you respect your parents, you respect your father. And that's the same situation of head that is being transferred from the father, who's authority over the child, to now the husband, who is now authority over the woman. Um, but it seems today that this is all lost, even on quote unquote traditional women who want to set the pace. They want to set the price. They want to tell you how much you're going to pay for this, that, the other thing. And oh, I'm not going to go Dutch. And why? You work, okay? You work. Okay, if you're with me, actually, you're not. You don't have to work, but you can work part time. I would like to have the most amount of time I, that I have. I like spending time with my wife here, and I love spending time with her. I reached out to her, and she didn't. She still hasn't. There you go. I don't know what's wrong. She's like frozen. She's not even on camera. I don't know what's wrong there. um, I love spending time with her, and even if it means her working less, I'd rather her not work at all. Okay, and she wants a part-time thing, a part-time gig to make it a little extra money. Cool. Okay, if the man is middle class or making whatever amount and he needs help, why is it that he can't ask for help? The fucking economy is absolute shit. You don't think Sarai helped Abraham? You read Proverbs 31, the woman is constantly weaving and knitting and make trying to grow a vineyard and sell shit and fucking add to the economy of the family. Why is it that this women are like, oh, they have to do everything for me? So you're looking for a dad. You're looking for a daddy. You're looking for a pimp, because you're not even married. You want a sugar daddy. Women don't even want to get married, but they want everything to be paid for them, even before they've had sex, even before. My advice to fellas, as I said in the video before, until a woman has submitted and is obedient to you, do fucking not pay for their shit. That is not your place. That is not your place. That is not your your role. It's your role to help, to support. It is hard to live life as a man. And most women don't know that. They just think that life is easy for a man. Men do all the most dangerous jobs. Men die at war to protect the women, because you think that these other men are going to fucking be nice to the women after they conquer you. Men are the ones that die and doing police work, firefighting. Oh, it's always men that these police and military need to fight against. That's not true, but okay, fine. Firefighters. Who's going to fight your fucking fires? Who's going to die for them? By the way, speaking of women and needing to be protected from other women, lesbians have the highest rate. Women who have relationships with women have the highest rate of domestic abuse and divorce because women can't even fucking stand other women and they think the world would be better with only women. Fucking ridiculous. These women do not appreciate men. They do not appreciate what men are, what they go through, and before a woman to actually really love a man, they have to see that. There was a video or a quote I heard the other day where a woman was saying, "Women don't care until it hurts them, until it affects them. They don't care. A man will go through suffering, but until it affects them, they will not be hurt by it. They won't care." And all of a sudden, when it's them that's washing the dishes at a fucking restaurant because you can't be back there, you know what I mean? You go, oh my god, I can't believe you have to go through that. You know what I mean? But before that, it's a fucking, oh, whatever. Until they fucking are carrying the bricks, until they're fucking carrying that. A lot of times they can't take it out of themselves to be like, wow, what that person does is hard. I don't have to fucking go and look at a person who works on a fucking uh a telephone pole working on the electrical wires. I don't need to fucking do that myself to be like, wow, that's fucking hard and dangerous. And I appreciate that there's people that can do that. And I fucking couldn't be me because I'd be fucking. I don't like heights. Okay, I don't fucking like electricity to the point where if I get touch it, I'll fucking fry alive and no one's gonna fucking stop it as I slowly as I go into unconsciousness, foaming at the mouth and my innards exploding. You know, as I burst into fucking flames, going like this in the most fucking brutal and embarrassing way to die. Oh, how many women fucking die doing that a year? Probably like zero because their women don't do that job. So when a man decides that he wants in his dating life, okay, not his marriage life, but in his dating life to fucking go Dutch, that's 100% appropriate. Okay? If you paid for another person and just giving them chocolates and fucking presents and you're not fucking marrying them back in 1945, you are is that a prostitute? If you go cross over state lines, if you check into you can't check into a hotel with someone that you're not married to in 1945. This is completely different from where we are today. We don't have a society that has any type of shaming or moral imposing of what obviously is a uh, governmental contract, at least in their eyes. I don't see it as I see a contract with God, but the government sees themselves as the enforcers of marriage. So why the fuck aren't they doing anything to enforce those marriages? Oh, because it doesn't fucking matter to them because they get even more money when you get to the divorce and you get to the court costs for all the divorce proceedings and then you got to get all the court costs for all the fucking custody battles and then you get all and then again and then all the money that's going to the child you know like 2/3 of that is going to the fucking state. 2 of every 3 cents, or like 1 of every 3 cents that is going into child support is going to the state. That's why they fucking want everyone to be on child support. Even if you've not seen the cases where neither party wants to be giving child support, they have their own agreement and they don't need the court. The court forces them. Why? Why is that? Because they get paid. They get paid. So when we talk about paying for women in this society, okay, even in another country, whatever, on these dates, no. Don't. Stop it. Get help. Okay? You pay for yourself. They pay their own way. And if they decide that they want to be under your authority, then they can get under your dime. Responsibility without authority is slavery. That's actual slavery, not being employed by someone and then being called a servant. You're called a server when you work at a restaurant. That's like literally through 2 letters away from servant. I don't, I don't know. You take away the R, you add the NT, servant, right? Anyway, I digress. When people are demanding that you pay for them, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. Okay, more times than not, in these women that are trying to court me in my relationship that I'm already in, right? I'm already in a relationship. I already have a wife. The women that court me, they offer to pay for me. Am I fucking Brad Pitt? Fucking no. Okay? I'm not Brad Pitt. I'm not fucking though I'm not that dude, right? Okay, maybe women find me attractive. That's good. But I'm not Brad Pitt and they're paying for me. Why? Because that's what I fucking exude. That's what I deserve for myself. If you don't fucking I will pay for you and everything that you want. If you are under my authority and you fucking show me that you want to be with me, I'm not gonna pay for your shit. If like, oh, it was such an honor to take you out. No, it's an honor to fucking take my time and address me, a man who's already got my shit together, and fucking consider marrying me. That's a fucking privilege. Okay, it's not a fucking privilege to just take some chick out. She checks herself out all the time. Okay, what's special about that? Okay, what it is just you're paying for her time, like a prostitute. Do not fucking do it. Do not be a trick. Be a man. And that leads me finally. I mean, that kind of just anything on that before I move on. Before I move on the whole like going Dutch versus men pay 100%. Just take a second. Tell me if you got anything on that.
Okay. Um,
Excuse me.
I would say that, of course, I agree with you. I agree that it is extremely unbiblical, and it's acting it's a harlot like way of uh behavior of the way that a Christian woman would conduct herself, saying like, oh, you have to provide for me, or you have to pay for A, B, and C before you can even consider me as a wife. And Christian women don't realize that appealing to the modern society and the modern society talking points of in the dating pool is making them sound like you're a prostitute. You're negotiating your price as a prostitute.
Yes.
Like you're not a wife. Like you want to be a wife, but you're sitting there negotiating and camouflaging yourself as a prostitute. It doesn't make any sense. And another thing is,
Oh, if we can just talk that for a second
yeah,
before you move on to the next thing. Um, yeah, and I think the worst of all is Christian women that be doing this.
yeah,
It's like this Christian women that think, oh, I have standards. I have standards. You need to meet the standard of the man that you want to marry, and he should meet the standard that you see in the Bible of a man, not you coming up with your own subjective standard and then seeing how that goes. Okay, this marriage, families have been going on since the dawn of creation, and there's been a way to go about it, and now as a society have rejected it and think that we've progressed past the Bible to do it our own, and we end up like you were saying, um, putting a price on our chastity in a way, putting a price on, oh, you get to spend time with me, I spend it for you to spend with you. That is prostitution and would be considered so in 60 years ago. You know what I mean? 60 no, not 60 years ago, maybe like 80 years ago, I guess.
mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, 80 years ago.
Yeah,
So uh It was a completely different society. And, not only has society as a whole, Babylon, accepted it, but literally Christian women have accepted this pricing of themselves. And it's like you've rejected everything that you could possibly reject in terms of like what marriage looks like in the Bible. They want to do the dating thing. They want to
Mm-hmm.
slowly get to know them. They want to even live with the person. Living with the person before you get married is one of the key indicators that of divorce. But I want to live with the person before them. I want to
Mm-hmm.
date them a whole bunch of years before we get even married. It's just like, no, you fucking take the dive. That's it. You fucking make that choice and you choose that for the fucking rest of your life, every day for the rest of your life, and you make that shit work because fucking it's not gonna just work like um like it's not gonna work like it's easy, like it's gonna be nothing. Hi, what? Glenda McKees. Hi, Glenda McKees. Hi, what? Hi, what? Is up? Nothing much. Um, and you were going to go through into a second portion. I think I thoroughly talked about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just you're right. They're putting a price on it, and Christian women have accepted the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the standards of how marriage is supposed to work, how to be a woman or a wife that is found, how to um, submit and be obedient has all given way to I'm going to put a price on myself and now I'm going to set the standard and in a sense I'm the leader now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think prostitution is the inversion of like a man giving a covering to a woman and loving her and so that she's not used for her for her body. Prostitution is literally I'm getting used.
It's a business
It's a
transaction.
business transaction and it makes everything so soulless and it's the inversion of like what love is supposed to be. It's supposed to be safe and stable, and I I provide for this person a level of protection. You know what I mean? There's as a prostitute, you're just an unprotected woman,
Mm-hmm.
and It, I mean, I don't know how to. You're right. I don't know how to explain it any other way than it being a form of prostitution. Like, why should I pay for this? You know what I mean? Until I know that you want to be under me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We pay our own way every other day. You when you go out with friends, you pay for your own way. I don't know you like that. But now you people are demanding you pay for me now. Like why?
Mm-hmm.
Like this that just to me makes it seem like oh you came here to get your shit paid for, not to come with me. And that's why also if I'm going to go on a date, I'm unless a woman is inviting me on a date to go out to a specific location and offer and for the most part they usually offer to pay, right? For the
Mm-hmm.
most part I can't think of a time they haven't. um it's like uh I want to go to like a park and talk. I want to go to the beach and maybe have a picnic on the beach or at the park, right?
Mm-hmm.
um Go to the springs. I want to go do something interesting. I want to walk around somewhere and then find a place to go. You know what I mean? Or maybe we can meet up for coffee or something. Like it doesn't have to be a meal. It doesn't have to be XYZ. Just before you start throwing money at women, fellas, consider vetting them and you setting the pace and trying to not you know what I mean. Don't set the standard of I'm going to keep you interested by buying you shit. Okay, that's not a standard that you want in your relationship. And there was a second point that you wanted to
Um. Well, the second
make. I love
point.
you.
Love you too. The second point I was going to make was is that usually when women have standards, a standard is a code word for I have a price, was
Ooh,
which I was going to say earlier. And but it all trickles down to women having unrealistic like expectations of like
just
we
turn your face toward the phone. Just
unrealistic expectations, what you were saying earlier, how women want to, instead of enjoying life or enjoying a simple life, everybody wants to get rich. Everybody is thirsty and appealing to the oohs and the ahs of having a fancy life.
and
Or
being able to take a picture or a video of it and post it for everybody to see.
yes, and that's what I believe. That's what every woman, a lot of modern Christian women are chasing. They're chasing after the ooh and ah lifestyle because
Yeah,
that's,
modern women in general, even the Christian women. Yeah, I see what you're
yeah,
saying. Yeah,
because they want to be flashy and they want to show it off. And it's like, if you really read the Bible, a lot of the people were shepherds and farmers
yeah,
and goat herders and sheep herders. I'm sorry, and they had to work hard and they tended to gardens and
right. They tended the garden, right,
right, and they made their own bread meal. They were hardworking people. They were simple, hardworking people.
right.
And that's what a lot of it always tells us that we should be like that. We should just be simple, good people. We should want to work hard and be simple.
Yeah, people used to like, they had to fucking make everything themselves and fix everything themselves and work hard and get their own milk, get their own food. And now that things have become so simple, like what I mean, like plate. I get paper ones, throw them out, easy, no problem. Don't gotta fucking clean it. You know what I
Mm,
mean? There's all this shit that simplified our lives and all that extra time. People are, what the fuck are they using it for? You know what I'm
mm,
saying? I don't know. I mean, like it seems like bullshit to me. It seems like a whole bunch of people are using a whole for bullshit.
mm,
And it's okay to like shit and and have passions, but like it becomes there's a time where it becomes an idol, and you idolize frivolous bullshit where you're fucking going from fucking festival to festival or fucking um night to night, drinking, you know what I mean, or fucking weekend to weekend, or fucking vacation to vacation. It's just where it's just like in between, you're just like you know what I mean, but I just need to get to this next night. That becomes an idol, you know what I mean. I just need to go out one more time and fucking, and and what are you really doing in those times, like other than, you're not really getting to know any woman that you're meeting there. Then you might meet a woman, probably not for the best, but you might meet a woman there, and you might do some dancing. You might even get some play. But is that like, in what way is that progressing your character forward? Like if you're playing fucking GTA, you could fucking probably do something like that. There's probably video games where you can go out there and your character can just literally, you go out to the nightlife in the game, and you meet girls and you just have sex with them. Like, is that actually fun? You know what I'm saying? You know
mm,
what I mean? It'd be fun because if you could feel the sex, I suppose. But if you couldn't feel the sex, you know what I mean? And you're just playing the video game, it'd be like, oh, this is dumb. Like, I don't want to play this. I want to do the cool things in this video game. But people don't live their life like that. People live their life like the lowest fucking brow fucking thing you could fucking think of. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, I just want to fucking go bang chicks at fucking bars. You know what I mean? Like, that's that's one of those things. You know what I mean? And where are those women coming from too? You know what I mean? They're fucking playing the same game, where people are just choosing this ridiculous, endless treadmill, hedonistic treadmill. You know what I'm saying? It's this hedonistic treadmill that they're running on,
mm,
and they've chosen that over anything good. You know what I mean? Um, the traditional things of like weaving and sewing, Fuck, they don't even fucking need to think about those things. They just fucking buy another one at Walmart or fucking 20, Forever 21 or fucking whatever online fucking publication H&M fucking hot topic bullshit that they use, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And they'll be there in like 2 days. Fuck it. You know, Amazon will fucking have the same one, the same size there in like 2 days. So they don't have to even think about being a seamstress or making the cloth for the seamstress, you know what I mean? Or fucking taking care of the goats to make the cloth for the seamstress. They're just like they're just like fucking want to do some coke. Like what the fuck is it? I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like what a lot of people are doing is
Well, when you live you know, privilege is blind to those who have it. So if
ah people living privileged lives.
yeah, I mean, if you live a privileged life and everything is handed to
Right.
you, even if you're struggling and you're able to
Right.
have the government assist you, then you become lazy.
That's true.
You idolize materials, you become very materialistic, and then, it starts to develop a bad character, because if um I read it today, I believe it's in Romans, but it's like, it's talking about like the struggles make good character, build good character. People try to find the easiest way to not struggle or
Mm,
run away from struggles or run away from hard work, to build good character. And I believe that's a lot of problem with a lot of modern women because of society appealing to however they act. They don't have to struggle. Any struggling, oh, that's you're hurting her feelings. Like, don't make her face that. She has to be a little girl for the rest of her life. Don't make her face that. Don't make her face these complications. Like, she's not an adult. Like, even us sometimes we have a bad habit of, instead of saying, oh, this woman, we'll say girl, you know.
girl.
Even that, like, even songs like that will say girl because, oh, they try to build this innocent, teenage like mindset for women to still be in,
Is it easy to love me now?
Mhm.
Would you love me if I was down and out? Would you still have love for me, girl? No, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? And because I think women want to be treated, even in their mind, that they're still young. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But when they conflate that with being childish, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
and immature, they end up being like 40-year-old women with like wearing halters. I mean, there are 40-year-old women that look good with halter tops. What am I trying to think? They're the 40-year-old woman at the local bar who still thinks she's like the shit from like high school. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And you're alone and you're a barfly. And then you scale that up. You can scale that up anywhere. There's that 40-year-old single lady at the church who never got married but still thinks that she's the shit. You know what I mean? Because she's been going to church and this, that, the other thing. But she's alone and single with no
Mhm.
children. And you could scale that sideways you to the fucking corporate woman who's 40 years old and thinks she's the boss because she's climbed up the corporate ladder and thinks she's the shit, but she's alone, used up, no children. And people who you started off something. You said a particular quote. What was it?
From Romans.
No, no, the very beginning of yours. You're like people. You heard some.
Oh, is blind to those who have it.
Privilege is blind to those who have it. Right. To these, especially to these secular women who are like, I don't know. This is my stand. By the way, I don't know why I'm fucking with it. To these women who, these secular women who might be even atheists. You know what I mean? They don't realize that they have the privilege of free will to do whatever you want. That's a privilege to do right or wrong. And so the privilege comes with consequences, though. You know what I mean? You do right, the consequences are good. You're blessed. If you do wrong, the consequences will be punishment. It'll be bad,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it that comes back to how women just don't have any accountability in their own mind, in their own life. They just make their own decisions. They don't think they have to answer to anyone. They could even be fucking like uh habitual liars. You know what I'm saying? They can just lie left and right. They can be manipulative with like a cry and walking out, and, emotionally abusive. You know what I mean? And there's no accountability for them. And um, and they want us to pay for that. That's what we need to pay for. You know what I mean? Um, Definitely worth looking at those two videos that I posted this past week to really get a big, deep jump into what I was talking about. Because I go into depth. Like, I mean, women are expecting traditional standards from men and not being traditional at all, and they're expecting something that these traditional men didn't even give to them. I discussed it more in those videos. Take a look; it's only a couple minutes long. But I wanted to bring it down into biblical roles, and so people are ready to watch a kind of a primer for those videos that I've done on biblical roles that are coming up. I've done them before, but this week I will be posting some videos on that topic and continue to be talking about single Christian women, which is a video I just posted last night, but I'll discuss in next week's podcast. Um, Biblical roles is what would solve all of these issues. If the men are in authority, the man decides who pays how much and where. If the woman makes money, he is also in control of the money that she makes. It's not this fucking we're all independent bullshit. It becomes a unit. Echad. We're one. Okay? People are not getting that this partnership, it has a leader involved and you have a subservient role to play. What you that and that role isn't a bad role or like not impactful. It's very impactful. You make what the man does multiplied times more potent and strong. Like what a woman does is multiply. I believe it says in Ecclesiastes. She multiplies what the man is bringing to the household. She's, oh, I'm gonna go plant a vineyard now. You know what I'm saying? And it's beholden, or rather it's put upon the man and his authority to how he decides the way that the finance is going, and that becomes from the very beginning, even at the very first date. You know what I'm saying? The date. Okay, should be a short courting process which leads to marriage. You do not want to have a long dating process. It's not what the Bible says. It's a one, because once you have sex, that's, you know what I mean, and that's marriage. Because once two or three witnesses are involved, and if you're honest, that'd be you and the other fucking person. That's two witnesses knowing that you had sex. You're fucking married, you know, and it's just a matter of confessing it to the community so that everybody knows that you're married. But God still sees. God knows what's up. God, anyway, we see all this, and we see that this whole this is the traditional timeline, right? And this is the traditional standard. And at some point, it we live in a timeline that branched off and created its own fucking morality. And now we defined a new tradition, and we're conflating different periods of tradition, and we don't even have any basis of where we get that tradition. Like, what underpins the morality and idea of male headship in a marriage? Where do we get that from? Is it just from biology? Well, then everybody better be fucking lifting heavy weights. Or is it something more? Is there something spiritual? Is there something beyond this? And if they're Christian, where the fuck are you? Are you reading your Bible, or why aren't you also discussing this? In the videos that I'll be discussing in the near future, I talk about First Peter 3:1, Ephesians think 5:22, I think it might be, and other scriptures, but more specifically, I discuss the depth of how it's supposed to be done, how it's connotated in the Bible, and I also throw in some clips discussing how other people's have it wrong. I have one that's pretty much a long reaction video to what this woman is saying that seems going viral, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is," but she's actually not saying anything worth of value, because it's all hidden under pretenses of you have to accept me, you have to accept me, you should marry me. Why? Anyway, and also I discuss some of the complications of where women are internally in terms of their philosophical approach to what their role is in their minds, in terms of what the Bible says that in marriage. And I talk about this at length, and we'll continue to talk this at length because it's a very deep subject, and it takes like 2 seconds to lie, but it can take an hour to explain why it's a lie. So those videos are coming up this week. Why Torah matters, biblical roles. I go into the Torah specifically, which is where the law and the commandments that discuss all of the framework of male headship, the marriage, um, authority, and who has it. And then I also go into the New Testament as well, because of course that's where it's, excuse me, that's where Christians are going to understand. Um, because they don't really read the Old Testament for some reason, but then they'll understand that the New Testament is built on the Old Testament. They don't pull this out of the ether and have their own cultural standards. This is all specifically from the Bible, and even more specifically from the Torah, which is called the law. Um, Anything to add to those videos that I'll be putting up and posting this week?
That they're really good videos and people should watch them.
Thanks, baby. Um, uh, Other than that, what is that last video that I just edited? It's second. It's also a second video following up on this first video that I posted yesterday. Single Christian women stop waiting. Um, and I'll have that up also this week, and we'll talk about both those videos in next week's podcast live stream podcast. All right. With that all being said, we thank you for watching. I'd like to thank all my new subscribers. I'd like to thank all my new followers on Instagram. I think we got 5 or 6 this week. I really appreciate you joining us here and love to discuss with you the finer details of the positions we're holding, as well as discuss um, uh, the many different topics that we tackle here on this channel, like red pill content, mansfield content, biblical content, and of course the Torah. Um, Anything I'm missing here? Next week is going to be Karate Combat. I do videos on Karate Combat, so the next Karate Combat will be soon. And if you would like to watch my material on that, go to my second channel, Arthur Fantastic. Links will be in the description when this is posted finally. And that if you want to contact me on any social media, want to talk about Karate Combat, want to talk about the Bible, want to talk about the Torah, find me Arthur Fantastic, or Arthur Fantastic 1K instead of IC at the end. Um, and I'll be able to discuss with you any of these things. So I've got promo codes for Karate Combat. Holler at me. Let me know what's up. And yeah, thank you for joining us. I will see you next time on First Day Biblical Discussion. Stay up, stay vigilant, stay locked and loaded. Shalom, shalom. Peace.